Brigade Enterprises joining in with us. We have Pavitra Shankar, MD at Brigade Enterprises, is joining in with us. Pavitra, very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining in with us on ET Now. Let's just talk about the JDA, right? The Joint Development Agreement that you've signed. That's the project in Bangalore. Believe the gross development value is going to be around 2,100 crores. What is your share going to be in this? What is the timeline of the launch and construction going to be starting for this project then?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. Yes, that's the total project expected revenue today. Of course, numbers can change by the time we actually launch the project. We are getting into the design stage immediately, and we hope to launch this project as soon as possible, ideally in the next 4 quarters, but it depends on the approval cycle as well. But our team is already hard at work, although we just closed all documentation yesterday.
Pavitra, also, just a bit more on that in terms of the project. Then in terms of pricing, how is that going to be? The margins on this project, if you could give us an understanding on that, because generally you work with a margin of somewhere with 23 to 25%. So for this project, how is that going to be?
Yeah, so today the pricing, while there isn't, I would say, comparable new inventory in that specific micro market, today, what we're seeing completed inventory go at is around 10,000 per square foot, all inclusive. I'm quite confident we can launch it higher than that, especially considering that we'll be coming to market in about maybe 4 quarters from now. So a little bit higher than that is definitely our aim, and as much as the market would absorb in terms of a price increase. In terms of margins, yes, typically we do around 25%. I think we'll have to see on the costing side as well, because we'd like to do a pretty nice and premium project here. We will aim for a minimum of this kind of margin, but ideally, if we can push on pricing, it should go a little higher as well.
There's Soumit also joining into the conversation. Now, moving on the residential business side, if you see, due to the change in government, there were some delays in getting approvals. Has this issue been resolved now?
So actually, right after change in government, there was some slowness. We did resolve a lot of those things. I think in general, some of the approvals have been happening a little faster. But I think, it's in some cases it has happened quickly, in some others, not so much. So I think it's not a uniform situation right now. Wherever we can push for approvals, not just in terms of launch, but even in terms of getting the completion and OC approvals, we're doing that. But it is still taking some time and taking some work to get them through.
Right. You had earlier also notified that what I'm reading is about 6.5 million square feet of launches in the second half. Have the approvals come through for these projects? How is that shaping up? Because you're mentioning a bit of a delay. And, what's the GDV then you could expect then?
So yeah, for the next 2 quarters, so for the remaining H2 of this financial year, we had projected around 6.5 million square feet of new launches. A lot of our growth and sales for this financial year is depending on that. The GDV of that should be around 6,500 crores. I'm happy to say that we've actually launched 2 million of that already. We received the RERA approvals after the financial year end. So actually maybe just earlier on this month. So that launch is already underway. So the remaining 4.5 is in various stages of approvals, pretty much the final stages. In some cases, we're just applying for RERA. So there really isn't any sanction or anything left that we need to look for. It's just the RERA phases. So yeah, there are a couple more approvals left, but I think we're fairly confident that we should be able to push all of these through. And if not, I think we're still going to, be able to increase our sales in the ongoing and already launched projects, since the market environment and demand today is very good, not just for new launches, but under construction. And we hardly have any completed inventory. So overall, a very rosy picture.
Obviously, Brigade has been putting out a strong pre-sales number every quarter, but if you could also tell us overall how has been the festive season demand panned out for you. Also, if you could tell us how have been the trends in bookings and conversions, and do you think that pre-sales target of 5,500 crore that you had given earlier, is it quite easily possible to achieve now?
Yeah, so about the pre-sales target, I'm not sure if that's gotten mixed up a bit with the revenue recognition numbers, which is a little different from pre-sales. We typically don't give guidance, so while we are in full, work to sort of make sure that we will beat last year healthily, we're working towards that. In the first half of the year, we've already sold about 3.1 million square feet with a booking value of 2,250 crores just from residential itself. So I'm fairly confident that with all the launches underway and what we have for the rest of the financial year, we should do pretty well. In terms of trends, we are seeing that there's a lot of action on ground. People are just walking into our sites, not just the new launches, but across the board. We are spending on marketing, but at the same time, I think we're just seeing just heightened interest from all customers, because any question or doubt as to whether this is a good market or not has gone away. So everyone seems pretty bullish right now, and seems on the same page that you need to get in now before prices may increase, because it is in a rising price environment. So as a result, we're seeing those who are keen on making purchases, they are coming to the table. They're making fairly quick decisions. In Bangalore actually enjoys a good end user market. So typically people like to come in towards the launch part of the cycle itself, so that they get their favored, unit location and configuration and so on. So we continue to see high demand for larger size units as well. This was something that happened post-COVID and continues to sustain. People are willing to pay more for good finishes and premium amenities and so on. So overall, I think the value that is being given to a house and a home is, continuing to be very strong after COVID.
Absolutely. The larger units are doing much better. That luxury market is surely doing better. And, we've seen those trends coming in post-COVID significantly, even in the real estate market, like you're mentioning. But, what is, I want to talk to about is the leasing in office portfolio, because that was a bit sluggish, I believe, a while back in some of the pockets. So now how is that leasing activity actually panning out? If you could give us some color on that.
Yeah, so our experience on the leasing market is, of course, very tailored to our portfolio. We have 8.5 million square feet of leased space of operational space that we have. Of that, we have only 0.9 million square feet that's available for lease. And almost all of it is in projects that are actually SEZ projects. So this is where, due to the sunset clause on the SEZ space expiring a few years ago, and there's not been any definite sort of guidance from the government in terms of will they extend or modify some of the benefits for SEZ tenants. Due to that, we've seen some slowness on leasing up the SEZ space, but non-SEZ space in general in the market is also doing fairly well. It's leasing up quickly. But last quarter, we did 0.3 million square feet of leasing across our portfolio, which was actually 10% of the overall Bangalore market absorption. So I think we were pretty happy with that number. We're still chipping away at it. Naturally, we wish we could have leased up a little faster, but given that we have only SEZ space to lease, I think we have to come to terms with the fact that it will take a little bit more time than we like. But the team is confident that we'll slowly, bring this down to pretty much zero.
Well, thank you, ma'am, for joining us and giving us all those details. Brigade stock is up around 4% in trade.